The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello, everybody. Hello, dum-dums. Welcome to the Dumbcast. Are you ready to dumb it down? Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. For those of you who are new to the show, welcome. I think this is episode 152, 153, something like that. But welcome to the show. When I call you a dum-dum, it's a term of endearment. And I am Dave Canyon. I am your pragmatic podcaster. I got to remember to say that at the top of every show. I am your pragmatic podcaster. I tried to podcast pragmatically, and I also try to do pragmatic podcasts and talk about life. We talk about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. And we do it pragmatically, as best as I can. I am using an iPhone 6S. It is attached to my car somehow through some phone mount that is inserted into my CD player. And yep, I said CD player. Does anybody still do that? I do that. And it is blocking the view of my radio panel. It is right above my air conditioning panel. So some of you might refer to this as distracted driving. Well, you might want to refer to an episode I did probably about 2 episodes ago called The Benefits of Distracted Driving. And that is an episode where I talk about somebody who criticized me for doing distracted driving type of things. Anyway, that was Alex Exum at the top of the show. Alex Exum, ALEXEXUM, and he does the intro for me. You can find him at alexexum.com, and he does a show on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern called Live Talk. Thank you, Alex. Great job with the intro. Yeah, so dum-dums is a term of endearment that I refer to the people who listen to the show. It's not referring to anybody's intelligence. The only intelligence that I really ever refer to is my own intelligence. I don't regard myself as a very bright, intelligent person. I barely graduated high school. I do exist a lot of my charm, believe it or not. I definitely have a certain likability. I have a gift of gab. Well, there's a Navy saying, something about if I don't baffle you with my brilliance, I could dazzle you. If I don't dazzle you with my brilliance, I baffle you with my, BS. And yeah, I don't curse. I am surprised and often appalled at the amount of cursing I hear during podcasts and Facebook Lives and all this other stuff. I don't enjoy it. I don't like when I hear other people do it. I do curse sometimes in my private life. I do a lot of things in my private life that I don't do in my public life. 2 different lives. Also, there's a work life, which is kind of a public life to certain people. And to certain people, it's my private life in my work life. So, there's a lot of aspects to life. And I think Americans, because I'm going to focus in on Americans on my show, tend to forget certain things, certain alienable rights. I don't know what alienable means, so let's just say rights. I've always heard the term alienable. I don't even know what that means. There are certain things that we have rights to, certain things we don't. I am not a constitutionalist. I am not an economist. I am not a college graduate. I am not a linguist. There's a lot of things I'm not. I'm mostly not everything. Anything that I could be, I am not. I am just barely a truck driver. A CDL, commercial driver's license, Class A, whatever that means, qualified truck driver. All right, I could pretty much drive anything. I also have a motorcycle license, but it has nothing to do with anything. I used to drive a bus. So I do have certain skills and abilities, none of which include hunting you down and killing you. All right, that all being said, I just wanted to preface by letting you know I'm just your everyday, ordinary Dave. I am no special or no less than anybody. I just try. I do try. I try to know more. I try to be better. Every day I give it my effort. That's all I can That's all I can do. I am 56 years old. I'm a truck driver. I work nights. I am obese, legally obese, because I don't want to break any laws. I am constantly exhausted. I am sleep deprived and brain degraded. These are all things that I've discussed in the previous 151, 152 shows that I've done, maybe even 153. I've lost count. But today is, in fact, September 19th. I've already done 2 half-hour shows this week. That's normally what I do. 2 half-hour shows because I have a 1-hour slot I need to fill on milehighradio.com. milehighradio.com. milehighradio.com, not H-I-G-H. Anyway, see what they did there? And I want to thank Lynn. I want to thank Bobby for giving me that time, that 1-hour slot. So therefore, they have forced me over the last, I don't know how many months now, they haven't forced me to do anything. I have decided to do 2 half-hour shows a week to fill that 1-hour slot. I can fill that 1-hour slot any way I want. But for the benefit of Spreaker, which is where I host my show, and all the now, I don't know, 11, 12, I don't know how many podcast platforms I am on, including Spotify, which most of you apparently are listening to me on Spotify, which you can't comment on. You can't comment on Spotify. So that's why I implore you to engage with me, especially this particular episode, if and when I ever get to it, because I do have something specifically on my mind, to tweet me at Done With Dave, or go to Spreaker. Listen to me on Spreaker and comment in the Spreaker boxes there. They have a Spreaker section there where you could Spreak out. All right? Oh, Spreak out. Spreak out. Anyway, that is my advertising slogan, not theirs. All right, I am not authorized to do any advertisements for Spreaker and change lyrics to songs and all that. I have no rights to that song, so go ahead and give me a cease and desist and whatever. I'm all good with that. So you could tweet me at Done With Dave at the end of the show. You can also look in the show notes. Everything that you need to contact me, my Twitter, my Tweeter, my Instagram, Facebook, it's all going to be in the show notes. Email me at dumbingitdownwithdave at yahoo.com. dumbingitdownwithdave at yahoo.com. Anyway, I'm very inspired to do today's episode. I think that covers everything, doesn't it? I'm very inspired to do today's show because I heard something on the radio and it really got me going this morning. So I want to discuss it with you while it's fresh in the news. I heard on the news today that the Prime Minister of Canada, I think that's his role. I'm not really up on foreign countries and who's in charge, whether they call it the president or prime minister, but I'm pretty sure it's the Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. I don't know how to spell it. You have to look it up. Anyway, apparently he is in a situation now because a picture. I want you to listen to how I carefully describe the situation because I have no agenda, ladies and gentlemen. I have no agenda. Zero agenda. I might have a pragmatic agenda, but that's not really an agenda as much as I'm trying to bring what is considered the left and what is considered the right somewhere to the middle to see the truth in it. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. I'm trying to... I have a news story here, and I want to share it with you. And I want to bring us to the center if we can. If you're not already there. If you're already there, then go ahead, shut this off, and go listen to the music. You don't have to listen to it. If you're already, you know that you got your stuff together, you don't need me to help you find the truth, then you don't need the show. Most podcasters don't shoo away listeners. They go, oh, you should stay tuned. Listen, I don't care if you stay tuned or not. All right? And if you do leave, why don't you just take that extra time, go to Apple Podcasts and give me a 5-star rating and review. To another podcast. You don't have to listen to this one. You already checked this off. You got it. But apparently, Pierre Trudeau took... there was a photo taken of him back in 2000-something, 2009, 2005, a long time ago. I have it here somewhere on my phone. I'm going to look for it right now. And hopefully I don't discontinue the show. But, all right, here it is. And it's actually, I Googled it, and an article came up from Al Jazeera, which is not 2 words. I used to think it was 2 words, like Alan, Al Jazeera. But it's not. It's 1 word, Al Jazeera News. All right? So, it says here, brown face makeup. And this is how they describe the situation. And I think this is improper. But they'll say embattled. That's what it says here. Embattled Prime Minister scrambles to get on top of a new controversy as he faces a tight contest against conservatives. All right. See, they're already referring to him as embattled. He's not embattled. Is he embattled? I don't think he's embattled. But whatever. I once heard a guy on a radio show. I wish I knew his name, and I wish I had written it down. I wish I remembered. But he was a guest on a radio show I heard not only once but twice. And this guy would talk about the press, TV, radio, newspaper, all that stuff. And he would talk about the words that the press uses to make you think that this is important, that something is really happening here. Embattled is probably one of those words. I don't think he's embattled. Actually, I didn't look it up. And I'm not going to look it up now because I'm afraid to play with my phone. But anyway, that's what they say. Anyway, so here's a bit of an article. Canada, this is from Al Jazeera. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has apologized. He's apologized following the publication of a photograph that showed him wearing brown face makeup at a party 18 years ago. So it would be 2001. All right? 18 years ago, as he scrambled to get on top of a fresh blow to a re-election campaign dogged by controversy. Dodged or dogged? Probably dogged. All right. The magazine published a photograph on Wednesday, 1 week into the federal election campaign, pitting Trudeau's Liberal Party against the opposition Conservatives led by Andrew Scheer. All right. Anyway, the just published black and white photograph shows Trudeau, 29 years old at the time, all right? So now, I guess he's 47, right? Wearing a turban. They're referring to it as a turban. I'm not referring to it as a turban. So it must be a turban, all right? Because I was going to say, I'm going to come on and say a turban. Somebody's going to say, no, it's not a turban. It's called a blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'm not up on that gear. Whatever it is that I could just call it a hat. And if I called it a hat, then people would call me racist, right? Because I improperly described what he was wearing. But in the picture, he is dressed as Aladdin. So he's wearing a turban, robes, with his face, neck, and hands darkened in 2001 at a party. He was at a party, all right? And this picture appeared in the 2001. So this picture has been there for 18 years, but we're first talking about it now. It's first coming to the surface now. All right, it's in the yearbook of the West Point Gray Academy, a private school where Trudeau taught at the time. He taught. He was a teacher. And he wore brownface, which, whatever. I always thought it was called blackface, but I guess it could be brownface. Now, can it be pink face? Can it be blue face? If I dress as a Smurf, is that I don't know, is that good or bad? If I want to dress up as, I don't know, Jim Brown, or the guy who played Shaft, Richard Roundtree, right? Or maybe, Samuel L. Jackson. If I want to be Shaft, and I put on the leather jacket, I think he wore a leather jacket, or whatever the gear was that he wore. Now, obviously, I'm a white guy. I mean, I'm telling you I'm a white guy. Now, are people going to look at me and say, oh yeah, you're Shaft? No. I have to put on brown face. Or black face. Or whatever matches the actual character of whoever played him. Whether it's Samuel L. Jackson and I think it was Richard Roundtree. All right. So then, so he's apologizing. Pierre Trudeau, I have worked all my life to create opportunities for people, fight against racism and intolerance. All right? This was at a televised news conference. And I think this is the apology. I can say I made a mistake when I was younger, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I had known better then, but I didn't, and I'm deeply sorry for it. Now I recognize it was something racist to do. These are his words. These are Pierre Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, 47, possibly 48 years old, for something that happened 19 years ago. Now, by the way, I will say this. Whether it happened a week ago, a year ago, or 19 years ago, as far as I'm concerned, makes no difference. Now, if you murdered somebody 19 years ago, it's murder. If you assaulted somebody 19 years ago, it's assault. It doesn't matter on the timeline of life when you committed whatever supposed assault or offense or whatever. There's certain things that I don't think a timeline really matters. In this particular case, I think it matters even less. It's it doesn't matter when he did it. This is not a thing. It doesn't matter that he was younger. So I don't want you to think, let's forgive him because he was younger. No, there's nothing to forgive. It's not forgive him because it was 18 years ago or 19 years. There's nothing to forgive. But he's apologizing for it. He says, now I recognize it was something racist to do. Okay? Communities and people who live with intersectionalities and face discrimination, it is a significant thing that is very hurtful. Wow. Really? Dressing as Aladdin, a character from a cartoon. And I think it might have actually been a movie. Probably was a movie, a live action movie, years and years and years ago, before it was a cartoon that's been made famous, I think, a couple times now. Okay? Trudeau was once the youthful golden boy of Canadian politics, also admitted to wearing dark makeup, singing Harry Belafonte's 1959 hit, Deo, the Banana Boat song, at a separate high school talent contest. All right? And now, of course, in response to the controversy, the Conservative Party leader, Andrew Scheer, the guy who's running against him, said his Liberal rival is unfit to govern the country. Oh, my God. So I'm not a fan of this Conservative guy either, because he's jumping on some sort of opportunity bandwagon to get himself into office. I understand it's a campaign. You want to win. I get it. I was extremely shocked and disappointed when I learned of Justin Trudeau's actions this evening. All right. So, folks, what am I missing out on? Please help me. No. Don't please help me. I don't need help. I Googled racist. All right. Racist. Google search. All right. This is Google. Racist. Plural. Noun. Racists is the plural of racist. A person. This is Google. A person who shows or feels discrimination or prejudice against people of other races, or who believes that a particular race is superior to another. And of course, other races are inferior to another, but they chose to say that a particular race is superior to another. And then in quotations, they have here an example. The comments have led to her being called a racist. Now, do we yell at Google for using her instead of him? Is this equal opportunity that she was called a racist? Or I don't know. I'm joking a little bit, but it's interesting how they have led her to be called a racist. Are the women's groups now rallying against Google because they don't like that they wrote her? Okay. Adjective, racist. Showing or feeling discrimination or prejudice against people of other races, or believing that a particular race is superior to another. In quotations, we are investigating complaints about racist abuse at the club. All right. I don't see racism here when Pierre Trudeau wears brown face for Aladdin or blackface for Harry Belafonte. I don't see it. I don't see how he is showing any discrimination. He's taking a character from a movie and he's impersonating that guy. Now, in the movie, I don't know what kind of a voice that guy uses. I don't know if I've ever seen these movies. I don't really do the whole Aladdin thing. I don't do pirates. I don't do other realms. I don't do a lot of things. I do certain comedic sci-fi, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's about as far as I go. All right. So I don't know what kind of an accent he might have. Does he have a Middle Eastern accent where I would assume that he would sound like the guy behind the counter at a Citgo station? Is that racist because I just said that? Well, I have news for you. Come up to Albany. I'll take you to 10 different Citgos. All right, come out with me to Long Island. I'll take you to a Citgo and a Conoco and an Amoco, and I'll take you to a Getty, and I'll take you to a Shell. I'll take you to a Speedway. I'll take you to every convenience store, and you might not see a Middle Eastern guy behind every counter, but when we do, he'll sound like what you would expect him to sound like. Is that racist because I expect him to sound like that? Now, if he doesn't sound like that, that's fine too, right? Now, I sound like a guy from where? Do I sound like a guy from Nebraska? Where do I sound like? Do I sound like a guy from Idaho? Do I sound like a guy from California? I'm going to let you decide where you think I'm from. Because I tell you what, almost everywhere I go, people ask me, hey, are you from blankety blank? Just in case you don't know where I'm from. And I go, yeah, how did you know? They go, well, it's pretty hard not to guess. It's pretty hard not to hear you. Yeah, that's right. That's okay. I don't think that person's racist. I don't even think that person's insensitive. I don't even think that person cares one thing at all about me. People who know me don't even care about me. So why would this person care about me? And why would this person want to hurt my feelings or say anything bad about me? I might have, all right? I'm not going to admit to it for the sake of this conversation. I may or may not have a certain accent. Whatever. And I don't care if it is or is not recognized. But anyway, I don't think Pierre Trudeau putting on that brown face for Aladdin or putting on blackface for Harry Belafonte. I mean, artistically, a smart idea. Listen, man, you know, if you have the talent to sing the Banana Boat song, whatever the song is called, the Deo song, yeah, go for it, man. I particularly don't care. I don't care if you do the hula hoop. I don't care. All right. So that was Google. Now, let's go to everybody's favorite. All right. Merriam-Webster. Racist definition, Merriam-Webster. Definition of racism. Number one, in order, they go to 1 to 2. Number 1, a belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Now, that is totally a different definition than Google. I don't know where Google gets their definitions from. I'm assuming they lift it off of somebody. I didn't look any deeper into it. Some of you might know that Google definitely gets the definitions from a particular source. All right, number 2. 2A. There's 2A and 2B for Merriam-Webster. A doctrine or political program based on the assumption of racism and designed to execute its principles. 2B. A political or social system founded on racism. Okay, so 2A and 2B, not exactly very heavy here in this conversation. Mostly, number 1, a belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race, which would, of course, also infer the inferiority of another race, right? Something like that. I'm no college graduate, folks. I'm no master's degree guy. I have no agenda. I'm just trying to look at this pragmatically and bring it down to the middle. By the way, I don't think this definition is really that bad. In other words, according to this, I don't think racism, according to this definition, Merriam-Webster, makes you a bad person. That if I believe that a race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race, I don't think that makes you a bad person. Dave, that's racist. But what you just said, hey, see that guy said, he thinks that blacks are this. He thinks what? No, that's racist. Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, there you go. You're a smart person. You obviously have been paying attention to Dumbing It Down with Dave, or I guess by some chance you have a Merriam-Webster dictionary in your house, and you look up the definition of racist, and you go, oh yeah, that guy says that blacks are superior, blah, 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 and that guy said whites, and blah, blah. Yeah, okay, well, you're right. Racist. Not bad. Not wrong. Racist. Like when I refer to somebody or myself being selfish. It's not bad. Self-ish. Self-ish. Yeah, I'm often selfish. That doesn't make me bad. It just means in whatever particular situation we're discussing, in that situation, I happen to be of selfish. Okay? So, now, acting on some of this, that might be bad. You know, treating somebody poorly one way or another is bad. Treating somebody poorly or somebody else greatlier, you know what I'm saying? Higher, richer because of their race. All right, that might be a little bit wrong there. I treat everybody the same. I dislike everyone equally. I am in fear of all of you. I want none of you in my life. I don't want, except, if you're going to leave a comment, tweet me at Dumb with Dave or email me at dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. Don't forget to like and share this podcast. I think this is a good one. You should share it. Let me just check to make sure how we're doing on time. Wow, we really are. Well, that was a quick one. All right. So anyway, no drink break, no breather break. We're going straight through. Did I have anything else for you here? So, I'm just saying, according to Merriam-Webster, you might say, hey, Dave, this pragmatism stuff is BS. Hey, listen, I'm reading a definition. Merriam-Webster, it's their website. All right, I know there's other ones that are the collegiate one. People like the other one, Oxford, whatever. I wish I had time. I don't know how many windows I can have open on my phone. But once again, a belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Let me tell you something, folks. If I'm watching the Olympics and I see a black guy, and let's say his name is Usain Bolt, whatever, I don't know, I never watched the Olympics that year, all right? Whatever his name is. Or the other guy, Ben Johnson, or the other guy, Carl Lewis, all right? And they're up against Patrick McGowan, whoever, or Bob, Matrusi from Idaho. You know what? Just by looking, I'm putting my money on the black guy. I just am. I think if you go through Olympic numbers when it comes to track and field, I think you're pretty safe. I think the house win. Well, not the house. I think you win most of the time. I don't know what kind of odds you're going to get. Before you knew who Carl Lewis was, you look at him and go, wow, look at that, fine physical specimen. I think I'm going to bet on that guy. You want to race him? No. But what about the white guy? He doesn't look like he has any muscles at all. He probably is a back marker. By the way, is that racist to call somebody a back marker? Because I tell you what, back markers exist. They exist in all sports, whether it be ball, stick, or motor, or anything. In spelling bees, it doesn't matter. There are back markers. There are people who are there to fill the show. And the people who let those people in the show know that those people are never going to win. But you got to have 40, or you got to have 30. You got to have a certain number. Back marker. Same thing in high school sports. A lot of people on those teams don't play enough, don't play at all. Whatever high school, wherever you are, there are back markers. I'm just saying. So that's kind of racist too. Do I have time to go over this? Yeah, okay, real quickly. How do I do this? Okay. I'm so happy that none of this is interrupting the show. All right. By the way, according to Wikipedia, in his first film, they refer to Aladdin as a street rat. He's a street rat. Also, they also refer to him as an urchin, a street urchin. An urchin, U-R-C-H-I-N, is a mischievous young child, especially one who's poorly or raggedly dressed. An urchin. They refer to him as that. Is that nice? Can we refer to as a child, as a Middle Eastern child, wherever fictional Middle Eastern country he's from? It says here, but I don't want to read it. But anyway, also, if you go to Google and you look for a picture of Aladdin, you're going to see a young, fairly tanned, much less than more than Caucasian, whatever, young boy. You're going to see a guy who you go, hey, that's not a white kid. That's not a kid from Nebraska. That's a kid that's been outside. And by the way, if he's an urchin and he's poorly and raggedly dressed, chances are he's out in the sun a lot because he's a street urchin. He has to scrape up food. That's what they do, street urchins. That's the definition of urchin. They go scrape up food and that other people don't eat. And also a street rat. So it would make sense that he would be a little bit darker skinned. He's not indoors. He's not indoors, watching MTV in whatever country he's from, Jafar or whatever. I hope you enjoyed this show. I hope you got it. I try to dumb it down. Pierre Trudeau is not a racist. He's a little bit of a wuss because he apologized. I'm really tired of politicians apologizing. They should call them politicians. Apologicians. Whatever. I got to go, folks. That's 30 minutes, and that's Dumbing It Down with Dave. Thanks for listening. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, good rats, Great skills, good riddance. That was a bad order. Bye. Yeah, real quickly. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, good rats, great skills. Now I'm 10 seconds over and I totally messed it up. Goodbye, good day, and great skills, good rats, goodbye, good day. It doesn't really matter, right? It's amazing how many shows I've done, I still don't know how to do that. That's sleep deprivation and brain degradation. Thanks, folks. We'll do it better next time. Bye.